I am back. I'm just putting together a little bit of a gameplay video here of the heroic leveling from the Imbue. So I've got a couple different clips from a few different levels, just to kind of show you what the damage was looking like as you're leveling, in case you're interested in trying the build. Like I said, it was a very easily heroic leveling build. The only downfall was just the single target damage. So this was Tide Turns at level 8, and we were doing it on low Reaper. I can't remember if it was Reaper 2 or 3, but it was somewhere in the low Reaper range. But as you'll see here, your Imbue is already easily doing 80 to 100. Color spray makes life easier, obviously. If you watched the build video, that wasn't an end game build, but color spray is a great tool leveling up. But yeah, I just wanted to go through and kind of show a couple different points in the build and see if I can get a couple heroic clips in there to show you what it was like as I leveled. So these won't be very long. I've got a few to piece together here from the leveling process. So this first one, like I said, is level 8. There's not much you do besides shoot your crossbows and throw out color spray, and that's pretty much the gist of the build there. But like I said, those procs were pretty consistently in that 80 to 120, I would say. You can see there's a couple higher, a couple lower, but that was where you were sitting at level 8. So overall, like I said, I thought it was pretty solid. Solid damage there. Just a little slow due to the single target damage, and that's throughout almost the whole build. This build, you don't pick up improved precise shot till your epic levels. So heroically, you are single target shooting. But like I said, it's good fun. So I'm going to move on to the next one here, and I'll pick it back up at the level 15 clip. Alright, back for the Imbue build, level 15. A little snippet of some heroic gameplay. We are on Same Old Song out in Sharn. We are level 15. We got 13 bonus Imbue dice. These are how my action points look out while I'm leveling up through here. In case you wanted to take a look and see how I got those dice, you can pause it and take a look there. Most of them are from the Inquisitive at this point. We are on Reaper 1, so we do have that Reaper 1 damage reduction, but not too high in there. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here just because I had a volume issue, so I'm skipping ahead. But to give you an idea of, I fixed the volume issue later on in the quest, that's why I skipped ahead. But to give you an idea of what the damage looked like, I would throw out some AoE spells as well as CC spells just to try to clear a little extra while I'm single target everything, because again, you are single target, you are not multi-target until epics. The only thing I cut out with that skip is I did show that I had about 300 cold spell power at this point in leveling, so that's how I'm producing the Spellblade proc. I'm using cold right now, as that was the highest gear set for the spell power I had. If you have a higher different spell power, like fire was your highest, then switch on over to fire. As you'll see, I switch out through most of them while I'm heroic leveling, whichever gear I've got the strongest. So again, your proc sitting in the couple hundreds here, which feels pretty decent at this standpoint because you are Inquisitive. So keep in mind, when you're saying a couple hundred, you're shooting 2 shots every time, 1 for each crossbow. So you're talking at least 400 to 500 every time you click that button on target. So it felt pretty good. Again, didn't have any problem heroic leveling this build. I tried to not go too high in Reaper on some of it just for my own sake, because Reaper really does nerf that Imbue damage, and I enjoy seeing bigger numbers. So, and I was more interested in seeing what the end game looked like in this build compared to trying to maximize Reaper while heroic leveling. So, this is what level 15 looked like, just to kind of give you an idea. But I'm going to jump ahead to my last heroic clip here. Alright, my last heroic clip here was of a heroic Sharn that we did at level. So this was level 18. As you can see, I had 17 bonus Imbue dice at that point. And I had where am I going? Oh, I was leaving off my shoes. So at this point I was using acid for my Imbue, as that was my highest spell power. I can't remember if I actually showed the spell power in here. I'm going to jump ahead into the clip. But normally when I was heroic leveling, my spell power normally stayed in that not more than about 300 to 400 heroically. Jumping ahead to the fourth wave here in the Heroic Shroud, I am using lightning bolts at this point because the devils aren't resistant to lightning at all. They are resistant to acid, so even though acid is my higher spell power, the lightning was the better choice. Keep in mind the damage is still pretty decent. I think you're still in that 200 to 300 range. You see a couple big ones in there, a couple 500s popping up, and it still felt pretty good because you got to keep in mind you're shooting 2 shots for every shot, so you're getting, you're talking 500 to 1,000 damage potentially every time you click that button. And with the inquisitive attack speed bonuses, you're still shooting pretty fast. So even though it's single target, it still did pretty well. So I'm going to let this play through the first wave of the big boss so we can see the burst damage, and then that's all I've got for the heroic gameplay. But hopefully that gives you an idea, if you were thinking about doing a build similar, of what it would look like heroically for you. And like I said, as I was leveling up, I would even throw in the firewall, the ice storm. Eventually I started throwing fireballs too. Just a little bit of AoE to help when I was walking up to mobs before I started shooting. It did seem to help. So here, I turn on all my buffs here as we're on Reaper 1, so I turn on the spell power, turn on the no hold barred, off the top of my head I think that's what it's called, the endless shot, and then open up on them. Like I said, your first number is really not what you're going for at all with this build. It's all about the imbue number, so it felt pretty good. But I do think it was more so a fun late build, because you do get up to a higher number late build, where earlier on having some crit multipliers and first number damage would have felt a little better. But that's what the build looks like heroically. So if you were curious, I hope you enjoyed it. If you hadn't seen it before and are curious about it, I've got a build video posted for the imbue build, as well as I've got a legendary raid posted, so you can kind of see the final product as well. So hope you like it. Catch you next time. See ya.